Joining us now to discuss all things West Coast Conference basketball in Las Vegas is WCC Associate Commissioner Jeff Tourial. This is an annual tradition.
What's up, Jeff?
Hello.
So welcome back.
Welcome back to you guys. Glad
We're here again.
Thank you for having me. We're glad you're here.
Are you really glad that we're here?
I am.
He's a sincere fellow.
I know. I know.
Sometimes.
Hey, I hope you slept well last night because the games start today and it's madness over the next 5 days.
I didn't, but it is. No, we're very excited. It should be a lot of fun. I think what we've seen on the women's side all year is that this is going to be a competitive week of basketball. I have no idea what to expect. And obviously there's some really talented teams on the men's side, but there should be some very competitive games in there too. So we're excited to see it unfold.
Yeah.
What's new this year? Because I noticed something very new in the middle of the court, high above. New video boards. That was negotiated, I think, into the renewal of
That's right.
New Orleans, right?
That's right. We're very excited for that. We think that we know that it will enhance the fan experience here and make things a lot more fun, try and be more interactive with our fans. So now we're able to do things like have an in-arena host to interact with fans throughout, give away more prizes, contests, those things. Also, last year we didn't really tout it very much, but there is arena-wide Wi-Fi, which is a nice touch in this day and age.
That is a nice touch. And I noticed, too, there's going to be 8 games broadcast on Twitter.
Yes.
And we're a part of that as well.
That's right. We'll be borrowing the BYUtv broadcast to stream on Twitter, so thank you for that.
So,
no, it's very exciting, honestly, to be a part of that platform. These will be the first postseason basketball games, men's and women's on Twitter, which is, as you know, a very relevant social media platform. And from our end, the point is to get our games and have our games be as available to fans anywhere, no matter where they are, and Twitter is an important part of that.
Spencer's helping call a lot of those games, so don't mess it up.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
Yeah.
I'll try not to.
Bring it.
Also, since you have the in with Twitter, maybe you can hook Jeremy and I up with some blue check marks.
yeah.
I mean, I don't have one. What makes you think I could pull that off?
Just like, I got to put the
first.
oxygen mask on me, and then I'll help you. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Associate Commissioner of the West Coast Conference, Jeff Tourial, with us. What will the fan experience be like for those attending at the Orleans Arena in this year's tournament?
It should be a lot of fun, and fundamentally that starts with good games, and I think we'll see that again as we've been blessed in years past with that. But having this video board allows us to do things we haven't had in the past. We've partnered with a very popular rideshare company. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention name brands.
Okay.
And they'll be offering discounts on rides to and from the arena, along with a chance to win $100 in ride credit every single day just by taking a ride here to the arena or from the arena. So things like that to try and make things a lot more fun. We'll be giving away some tickets to later rounds during the earlier rounds, so we know those are obviously hard to come by, so we're hoping that that's something that people enjoy as well.
Okay, St. Mary's and Gonzaga have been ranked wire to wire, and you've had the #1 team in the league for a couple weeks until Saturday. What's that been like for the league to have Gonzaga and St. Mary's be so good?
They're fun to watch. They're very efficient, but I think nationally it has brought a lot of attention to West Coast Conference basketball, and I think the reflex might be that it was bad for BYU to beat Gonzaga on Saturday night from a conference standpoint, but that's not the case at all. I mean, it shows that, hey, this conference is a lot more than Gonzaga and St. Mary's. I mean, we know how talented BYU is and how capable BYU is of beating anybody on any given night. That's 3 years in a row, as you well know, in Spokane.
Wild.
And so we're very excited about the season that we've had to date, and we know that over the long term it's going to bring even more exposure. I mean, look, this year we have 4 new head coaches on the men's side and 7 new head coaches over the last 3 years. So
Wild.
Our schools are making a commitment to men's basketball, and you're starting to see it pay off. It's going to take time. Obviously, Gonzaga is built something very special, but it's doable.
And it's great to have San Francisco and Santa Clara kind of get to that 20-game level, and that's kind of raised the whole ocean level, I guess, of the men's side.
Yeah, how about what Kyle Smith has done at USF? I mean, picked 9th by his fellow coaches, which I don't think was necessarily wrong, but he's won 20 games so far, and they've had a heck of a season. And obviously Herb Sendek and the track record he's had at Santa Clara prior to coming to Santa Clara, and the job he's done has been impressive too.
And then the other guys are Damon Stoudemire and Terry Porter, so that's fun.
Former NBA stars of the Trailblazers.
Yeah,
very
great.
Cool stuff happening in the West Coast Conference. When you look at BYUtv and the partnership that the West Coast Conference has with BYUtv, How do you gauge exposure that is available to the West Coast Conference through that platform?
Well, it's incredible. It's international television, and that's something that, without BYU TV, many of these games would be seen digitally probably, which is fantastic and becoming more and more important every day. But to have that linear presence with the reach that BYU TV has and the audience that it brings, I mean, that's exposure that we couldn't write a check and purchase.
Is the expectation on the men's side, Gonzaga St. Mary's will get at large if they don't happen to win? If someone else wins, you get 3 in. And then on the women's side, probably just 1 at this point, you think?
I think that's realistic. Yeah, I think that Gonzaga and St. Mary's are locks for the men's tournament. I don't think there's any question about that with the resumes they've built to date. And yeah, my personal belief on the women's side is this is a year where we'll have our champion in the NCAA tournament.
It's tough to balance, like, what's best for the conference? Is it 3 teams or Gonzaga and St. Mary's specifically on the men's side performing well, meeting in the championship, and then, bettering their seeds for the selection committee? So, I mean, do you want more teams or do you want the teams that get in to have better seeds?
Both? Yeah, is that a choice?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, one of the hardest things about working at a conference office is I spent 10 years on a campus prior to coming here, is that you put down the pom-poms, you're no longer a cheerleader, and you really just, I mean, in some senses it's easier to sleep at night because you're not as devastated by a loss or as ecstatic and emotionally high after a big win. But it's hard to just, we want to put on a great event, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Which is why I when I watch other games not involving West Coast Conference teams, maybe I root a little bit more passionately because that's my outlet.
Yeah.
And it's always traditional to ask you the outlook of the Braves. I know you're going to spring training next week.
I am. I'm so excited for that. They'll be less awful than they've been.
I'm a Mariners fan.
They're on the upswing. Mediocre at best, but better mediocre than last year.
Yeah.
It sounds weird to say that Braves baseball is ever really in a bad position. I just always
But I live in the 90s mentally with
Yeah, right?
Me too.
Yeah, I'm like,
right?
Terry Pendleton's my homeboy.
Otis Nixon is stealing first base in
Fred
the playoffs.
McGriff's instructional videos.
You go back to Braves teams. I mean, I grew up with bad Braves teams, but Dale Murphy was my favorite Brave. And
Yeah.
You guys are certainly quite familiar with that, and watching him play and patrol the outfield every single day was a lot of fun.
We had him on the show a few weeks ago. He was the keynote speaker
I
at
miss
BYU Baseball's fundraiser, first pitch dinner. Yeah,
I miss those light blue jerseys. I really do.
Maybe one day they'll bring them back. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I just remember Mark Lemke. He was always my favorite Brave, the second baseman, the unsung hero.
If I have time for a quick random story, I worked in independent baseball for a couple of years as a radio guy before I went over to college athletics, and the league I was in, Mark Lemke was trying to revive his career as a pitcher, a knuckleball pitcher.
What?
So he was out there. He pitched a season and a half. Didn't go very well.
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow.
Only the analysis and insight you can get from one Jeff Tourial.
Finally, I learned something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Associate Commissioner of the West Coast Conference, Jeff. Great to talk to you. As always, look forward to a fantastic tournament.
Thanks for coming out, guys. We'll have a fun week.